So The Witness just came out and I was like, oh boy, finally a game to test my wit and skill in a semi-recent game I can make a for beginners on. And you know what? I'm not gonna make one! Specifically because talking about this game is seen as a mega ultra sin and a crime against the gaming community, because God forbid you tell people what's going on in the world's most color-saturated island. But then I kinda realized, wow, that really is the problem with this game, isn't it? This game requires you to not know diddly crap in order to get the full effect. Well, guess what? This is the internet age and nothing is safe, you asshole! So normally, I break down games and try to explain what you'll be doing and some basic tips in order to have the best experience. Of course, The Witness has put me in a little bit of a pickle. How do you explain the game that gets its whole experience from not knowing anything? For those who don't know, The Witness is a really aesthetically pleasing puzzle game with a mysterious story, and that's really it. The whole game is just doing puzzles that range from, oh look how smart I am, Mom, I did a thing, to, oh God help me! Basically, this game is just all hard puzzles all the time, and trust me, if you're not into puzzles, you're gonna have a bad time since this game really won't change your mind about them. But because of its super vague plot and pretty settings and crazy challenging puzzles, this game really brings out the pretentious indie gamer in basically anyone who can understand what's going on. Oh, you know exactly who I'm talking about, guys.
Well, I got it. Anyone who doesn't is a big old dum-dum.
People. The ones with a smug sense of superiority that love talking about how deep and meaningful the Tuscany Sunset Shades the leaves are. And I'm pretty sure that's why the game has crazy positive reviews across the board, because anyone who speaks negatively about the game just didn't get it, man! But annoying people aside, here's my big issue with this game. I really understand what the game is going for, and don't get me wrong, it's pretty good and well designed, but I feel like The Witness should have come out a decade ago. A bold statement, I'm aware, but here's my reasoning from my dumb, non-expert perspective. The entire game hinges on the fact that you don't know anything in order to figure out the puzzles for yourself. Problem is, if you get frustrated enough, and trust me, you will get frustrated enough, then all, and I mean all, of the answers are just a Google search away. Boom, bam, multi-game mechanic ruined. Take the puzzles away, and all you have is a pretty island walking simulator with a vague, artistically pretentious story that's only barely satisfying if you lock yourself up in a room for like 2 days trying to understand what the heck you just played. And what's disappointing is that this game would have thrived a decade ago when the internet wasn't as prominent and you needed your parents' permission to get online and pray to God no one was on the phone. Not having immediate answers would have caused an even more crazy sense of accomplishment, making people band together to solve the island's mysteries, creating an intense vibe of wonder similar to that of Shadow of the Colossus or the original Myst. The internet kind of ruins that feeling of discovery now, doesn't it though? Why bother banging your head against the wall trying to understand what's going on in a game when you can just Google everything? And I know, well, Buns, you can just Google all the spoilers of every game now. Why is The Witness the big boy in trouble here? To be fair, yeah, puzzle games are really easy to exploit with the internet, and walking simulators are a big target for, well, just watching online, but that's another story for another time. Also, if you're down for another time, why don't you just hit that pretty little subscribe button there if you catch my drift. But what The Witness doesn't have that most other puzzle games do is skills-based gameplay. Portal, for example, yeah, you could look up a solution, but you still need a little bit of skill to execute it right, or else you're gonna get a face full of concrete. And that really applies to most games as well. Yeah, you have answers on how to beat something, but you still need a little bit of skill to get it right. Whether it be jumping, flying, timing, running around, or beating stuff up with a stick. The Witness, on the other hand, doesn't require skill, just a crazy love for shape puzzles. When you have the answer, all you have to do is type it in and ta-da, that's it. And I wouldn't make such a big deal out of this if the puzzles weren't the only thing you do. Because even though there's really pretty scenery, it doesn't really do anything. You're not jumping around and engaging it. It's just a pretty set piece for all of these panels. And be real, this game really could have come out 15 years ago. Yeah, it really wouldn't look as pretty, but you really think The Witness is stressing the PS4 and PC hardware with water textures on the size of the map, toned down the graphics, and this game could have easily worked on the PS2. This game is just 15 years too late, and games like this just lose all of its mystery and worth with the internet now. But for what it's worth, the game has value in its looks and design because it's a very intriguing looking game, don't get me wrong. I was enjoying myself for a while, but that fun quickly went away when I got too frustrated. And the satisfaction of figuring things out wasn't enough because nothing was really making me want to do it. Why have challenge when there is a crappy reward? I wanted more from this game, something that wasn't just puzzles and a vague story. And hey, you might think this game is great. You may have taken it seriously and was diligent enough to get get through it and feel validated at the end. In that case, coolio neato, happy for you, nerd. Your $40 was worth it. But I realize why everyone is freaking out about the quote-unquote spoilers. Because there aren't actually real spoilers to avoid in this game, just answers. Because that's all this game is, a bunch of questions that need answers. The Witness lacks real substance. Why bother playing a game that can have the entire value of its gameplay stripped with just one Google search? And for the record, and a little side note here, for all of you—
Well, if you look up answers, you don't like challenge, and you play your games wrong.
people, just shove it! Listen, games are not some high and mighty elitist tool to yell about how cool you are and how crappy everyone else is. They are, and will continue to be, a medium of entertainment, you ding-dongs. Games are for you to have fun, enjoy, and find meaning. Where you find that entertainment is up to you, whether it be challenge, farting around, or getting it on with the story. The Witness has some McFrickin' hard puzzles, and if I'm not having fun and want to get to the so-called fun parts, I'ma look stuff up. And that applies to all games for that matter. There is no right way to play a game, because if I'm not having fun, then what's the point, you little bitch? Hope you all enjoyed this video, guys, and if you agree with me, that's great! And if you want to murder my insides, that's wonderful! Why don't you tell all your friends about my awfulness and share this on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr so they know you hate me extra much. Later, you big nerds! Buns out! I literally just dropped the mic. Buns is out. I'm gonna go take a nap.